The month of August marks Women's Month in South Africa, and it is for that I am joined by Kirsten Landman, a rally racer, she tells me, someone who's toughed it out with the best in the business. Kirsten, thank you very much for having us. We understand that it is a very busy time for you, so to be able to fit us in, to talk to your journey, thank you very much for that. Endurance racing, getting involved in motorsport, where did it all begin for you?
This started as a little 8-year-old girl with a dream, being a sportswoman, because back then I was swimming, already competing. Sport is my life at a young age. And then fell in love with my cousin's motorbike and kind of begged my dad until he bribed me in the sense that said, if you make the Gauteng provincial swimming squad, I'll buy you a motorbike. And I got my first bike at the age of 8. And that was it. Swung my leg over a bike, fell in love, and what started as passion, which still is passion, I'm very fortunate to say it's turned into a career.
The career in itself, when it comes to women in motorsport, is no doubt a difficult journey. Dating back then, surely there wasn't sufficient opportunities for you to race. You were most likely racing against the boys or the men as you continue to do that. What was that like?
It's still like that. I think women in sports, whether it's 2 wheels, 4 wheels, any kind of discipline in the sporting world of motorsport, it's still developing. It's not as easy as putting on a pair of tackies and just running. So you've got to have the support to start. But I look back at my career now, and I think, being a woman, once one of the only women, and still one of the only women, I see, put on my helmet, and I'm one of the guys. I'm a fellow competitor that I don't get treated any different, nor do I expect to be treated any different. And yes, it's been tough in terms of having to find sponsorship, because again, I'm competing against guys. So if I want the same pay as a guy, I've got to beat the top guy. So it's not as easy. But in that sense, it's really escalated my performance, my technicality. I've had to match, if not better, train harder. And, it hasn't been easy, but it's certainly been worth it. And looking back on my career now, being the only female in South Africa back then, and now you look at the little 8-year-olds of South African races, and there's a full class of little girls racing against the guys, and they are doing exceptionally well. So I would say proud to be paving the way for women in motorsport in South Africa and around the world. And, I think in 20 years' time we'll have equal, and the girls will be doing just as well as the guys. And we're just a few steps behind in terms of the normal sports, tennis, rugby, soccer, and cricket, but we get in there. So, of course, I've had incredible family support from the get-go. My parents, my mom and my dad, from the get-go, this is not a cheap sport, so they laid out the funding for me to be able to do it. And, of course, backing a little 8-year-old girl to ride motorbikes, the little girl on a very dangerous bike, and over the injuries over all the years, they've always been there nursing me through it. I was fully supported by my family up until the age of 19, where they said, listen, we can't afford to do it anymore. If you want to make this a career, you got to get the sponsorship. It's freezing cold. And then, obviously they paved the way in to be able to think of making it a career. And then the hard work just came from me, and you got to perform. And for me, it was performing against the guys and putting the results out against the guys. And then, I've had incredible sponsors throughout my career. KTM South Africa, the MD is actually a female. She took a gamble on me in 2013, and that's where it all started. She I think her being a female in a male-dominated industry kind of thought, what's wrong with having a girl on the team? And that's where it's kind of opened the doors into me racing internationally. I got the support's not cheap, and then we just went from, my never quit attitude and I want to do everything and anything, kind of also just pushed for it. And if you want something hard enough, you will really work towards it. And again, support of the family. I've got an incredible wife now who supports me and backs me, but also all the sponsors throughout my career. Ryobi took me to my first Dakar. Now my second Dakar this year, ASP International.
Talking about that Dakar rally, I think for endurance racing, that no doubt is the pinnacle.
Sure, the Dakar rally is certainly the toughest thing I've ever been through on a motorbike. You know, from a sense that it's so mentally challenging. So you start the race and you've got 14 stages, 9,000 kilometers to get through, and then you're facing the cold weather in Saudi Arabia. We all think, oh, it's the desert, it's going to be nice and warm. No, complete opposite. It's there at that time of the year. It's their winter. So you're dealing with the weather, you're dealing with the long distances, and like this last one now, 2023, I went and did it on my own, raced the bike, fixed my own bike, and I kind of went into it a bit ignorant, and the good old saying, ignorance is bliss. Yep. I think if I had known what I was going into, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I think that's what I always just I'm going to do it, and I have no idea what to expect, and I figured it out at the time, but I got through it. Those long days on the bike, I averaged 10 hours a day on the bike. My longest day was, I think, 15 hours. Wow. And then you come back, 10 out of the 14 days of racing, it was raining. So we come back, you're sopping wet, everything's wet, the bivouac's wet. You now got to camp in the rain, in the wet, set up your tent, unkit, try and find somewhere to dry your kit. Then while you're doing all of this, you've got to replenish all of your lost fluids and calories from that day. It's impossible to replace that in any way. So, and then, you're working on the bike. One night I was working on my bike until 12:30, and then you're up the next morning at 2:30, 3 o'clock.
How are things looking for you personally? What other sort of things are lined up for you in the next couple of years moving forward?
I'm definitely pushing towards car racing, make that transition into off-road car racing, and eventually I want to be a driver racing at the Dakar as a female pilot. So that's the goal. For now, it's still 2 wheels, and of course I want to go back and compete at another Dakar. I think I've got another 3 more. I'm giving myself to 35.
Over the years that you've been involved thus far, do you see that there is a change? Are you encouraged by it? Do you feel enough is being done to encourage young girls?
There is a huge change, and it's not just in women in motorsport, it's women in sport on all aspects, even in the business world of things. It's so great to see, the women's sport is being televised, which is all we need. We just need the exposure. We need someone to put it out there, talk about it. We need to support one another, and we just need to stand together. And at the end of the day, whether it's male or female, we're all sports people. We have a passion for sports, and we've just got to all come together and understand that we all love something. And I'm very indifferent in the sense that yes, I'm very pro-female, but at the end of the day, we're all sports people. So we've got to support each other. See any beautiful camels?